The reviews for Marvel's Thunderbolts are officially here, and as we typically do, we're gonna look at some of the big outlets and some of the medium and small size outlets and sort of come up with a consensus of, well, where does it go? So let's talk about the good, the bad, and, well, I guess everything in between. After a rather rocky road with critics and the fans do like it more than the critics, when it comes to Captain America Brave New World, everybody's eyes are on the Thunderbolts because, again, if Marvel Studios takes another L and another miss this year, I mean, MCU is dead might as well be the headline of every single website going forward, anything they're talking about with the MCU. Now, of course, the box office jury is still out, and we're going to talk about that in due time, but we got to talk about the reviews. So again, most of these reviews contain almost no spoilers, and it's exactly what you want to know. So I looked at about 12 outlets here and got sort of a consensus. So let's get into what the critics are saying about the Thunderbolts. So first and foremost, I'm seeing a decent amount of this is a character-driven, character-focused film. And even among the reviews that are on the lower side, not necessarily saying it's the worst thing ever, but just more on the lower side of the scores, I am seeing that the cast seems to be across the board something that everybody likes. All the characters apparently click together rather well. Everybody has that sort of Marvel charm, Marvel banter angle that just works. The team dynamic, how they all click together, their personal stories, how everything just comes together seems to be praised by literally everybody. And there doesn't seem to be too much of what was the point of this character on the team. This character didn't make sense. There's none of that. So it looks like if you're in for the team dynamic in an MCU film, that this is going to deliver that in spades. At the same time, let's talk about the film itself. I'm seeing a lot of people say that the film is not as action-packed as you've come to expect from Marvel Studios' offerings. And some have even said it's not as action-packed as Captain America Brave New World. Now, in my opinion, Brave New World, I thought was a decent amount of action for the story that they were telling. I thought it was like the perfect amount of action you need in that type of film. So the fact that people are saying there's not as much in this one makes me think that this is going to be a lot more of a Phase 1-ish style film, which, mind you, I do not mind. Phase 1 is my favorite phase out of all the MCU. I prefer those films. I prefer the way they're structured. I prefer not having over-the-top action all the time. So if that's what we're getting to, and again, combining that with what I just talked about, character moments, to me, this all sounds absolutely perfect. Which brings me to the next thing I want to talk about in this, and that's the general reception and like that quick little blurb you get. So, of course, the patented, this is the best thing since Avengers Endgame, I saw that. I think everybody's going to see that. You're probably going to see at least 2 to 3 outlets, I would assume, say that this is their favorite one. And again, it's all a matter of opinion. You know, everybody has their favorite film and project since Endgame. You guys probably are very well aware that there's 2 people on this channel that are part of podcast whose favorite film since Endgame is The Eternals. My favorite one is Shang-Chi. You know, everybody's different. There's undoubtedly going to be people that love Thunderbolts more than anything else, and that's fine. And what I'm seeing from those specific reviewers is that they seem to really enjoy, again, the characters, the focus on the story, the agency, and just how different this feels, which I think is great. But also, this brings me to some of what I would consider the bad. So when it comes to the bad, a few things I saw about this film that really stuck out to me was people saying that there is an element of this that's so predictable that you just feel like they didn't take a risk. Now, there's no spoilers here, but I'm going to assume that the one thing that everybody's talking about is so obvious because everybody said it's going to happen from the moment we saw that character. Taskmaster is probably the most predictable thing out there. And I think a lot of people are saying that that's like a predictable moment we all knew, and then there isn't too much other stuff that's unpredictable. But I'm going to be real with you guys. If that's the biggest complaint, is that the film is predictable but great, I will take that over them swinging for the fences for something that might not work, like Eternals, for example, and alienating a lot of people. I think that they're trying to find their footing, and not even Captain America could do it. So, again, I get it, I really do. And another thing that really stuck out to me from what people are saying is the CG. So the CG is always hit and miss with these types of films. And there are, in these reviews, some people talking a little bit more about it. And I did see a couple saying that there are some CG scenes that are so obviously somewhat rush job. And I get it. We've, I think, come to expect that with every comic book film these days. There's so many more blockbusters and a finite amount of companies that have to work on them that CG is getting worse by that nature, and the post-production times of these films being like 8 to 9 months now instead of like a year and a half to 2 years at some cases. So I kind of get it, and I get the worry, which, again, it is what it is. We got to see it for ourselves. And then there's what I would say is the one thing that really stuck out to me, and it popped up in a couple reviews, and that's that the film is genuinely funny and entertaining in all the best ways possible. Now, funny, again, to some people is a sign of I hate it, because Marvel humor, right? Oh, he's standing right behind me, isn't he? Turns head. Oh, that's become Marvel humor. Even though Marvel didn't invent that, it's just known as Marvel humor. I'm getting the sense that this film has a lot of that. But at the same time, I think people enjoy that, and that makes them feel good. That's certainly something that Guardians got right every single entry, and even the Ant-Man films. So if that's something that's making people like it more and other people hate it, I guess it's personal preference, right? So whatever the case is, honestly, I'm excited because the reviews seem to be pointing, at least from what I saw, to like a 70 or an 80 on Rotten Tomatoes. And Marvel Studios could really use that right now. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will. And if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.